Hey everybody, it is Jillian. I'll tell you what, getting exposed to some kind of variant, whatever it is, especially when it hits your lungs like you would not believe. I remember descending into such sickness to where once I triggered some kind of cough, it would be probably like a week or 2 weeks where I would have a residual cough where I even couldn't sleep at night. I remember 10 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, where I would catch some kind of really aggressive respiratory infection and I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would be stuffed up for days. I would have headache. I would feel just completely like no energy. I remember what it was like actually trying to evolve on a body that was not very equipped to handle the evolution. And it was torture. It was fucking torture. But this last time, I swear, if all sickness could be this way, if all evolution could be this, I'm telling you, I last night, like, let's say like yesterday, like I had the sneezes, like right after I left the group I hung out with for a minute. And I had all the sneezes. I felt all the mucus coming out and I was coughing in the middle of the night. I think it was like probably Sunday night. I was just coughing up a storm. But I wasn't losing sleep. It was just my body was doing what I needed to do, but it wasn't like continuous. It was just intermittent. But I could tell that I was doing it. And I had no feelings of soreness. Like, you know, when you cough really hard, you feel like your lungs are sore, you feel your throat is sore, you feel everything is sore. There was no soreness. And so yesterday I had that coughing fit like overnight and I can feel it like at early in the morning, and then I had a coughing fit in the afternoon. And then it was over. That's when I did that Facebook Live yesterday, going like, well, I just had a coughing fit. And you can kind of tell that I have been coughing, but I'll tell you what, if I were to do what I was doing like this last weekend, like 10 years ago, I probably would still be sick. I'd probably have some kind of laryngitis. I'd probably be in bed sounding like I was at death's door. But no, last night I was watching some kind of movie. I was watching Dirty John, on the Netflix, because that's usually my little routine at night. I'd watch a bunch of movies and maybe I'll pick up some stuff, that I could talk about if anything came to mind. But I felt all these pins and needles in my body, like seriously, like pins and needles, almost like your foot falls asleep. And it was the temp. You could feel the temperature. It was just like it was after I coughed out almost everything I can cough out. I tried to cough out nothing, and then I felt the rise in my temperature. It was such the weirdest feeling, and I was just going like, oh my god. It was almost like it was like you could just feel the feeling just emanating. And this is when people, I guess, how would I say it? When people when they have a fever from some kind of infection, or when they have, I don't know, I was trying to explain something, but I can't really figure it out how to explain it. But it's basically it was killing the last residual bit of infection, okay, and whatever it was, okay, and it was all evolution because I took on a variant, a lot of them, whatever it was. And then my body had to go through its evolution. On a lesser person, they would be down. They could have been basically, in the hospital on a ventilator trying to help them breathe. But throughout the whole process, I actually could breathe through all of my different canals. And I actually could feel how, like, even I could actually feel the wetness of my canals. Now, the canals are not like closed up, but they're not wet. Like maybe it's a little residual cough here and there, but let me tell you, I remember even just like breathing, it would trigger a cough. I remember being in the movie theater like maybe 15, 20 years ago. And if I even like breathed a certain way or whatever, I'd have to cough, and it would be just like a cough all the time. And that's kind of what I thought it was going to be like yesterday when I was going like, oh my God, this cough is insane. But no, as soon as I kept blowing everything out, and that's the thing, is the key is blowing everything out, blowing it out. And you hear me blow my nose like every morning. You see how freaking aggressive I am. Okay. And I had cigarettes yesterday too. I'm drinking like 2 cans of coffee. I'm working on my book. I'm coughing everything out as I'm working. Imagine if I was in the office doing that, they would send me home. They'd be like, you can't be working here spewing out all your sputum. Oh, yeah, puppy, I know that. And so, I'm drinking some coffee today. I went through a chapter and I got some really good sleep last night. I haven't been losing any sleep. The only time I think I kind of just had a little bit of a sleeping issue was, when I was going back and forth with some of these empaths that were just trying to challenge the hell out of me. And I think because I was just on something about the empath, the passive aggressive empaths, and it really just had me just like think about it and like get a revelation about it. So I didn't sleep very well. That was like last week or something like that. But through this sickness, I've been sleeping like a freaking baby. Through this evolution, I've been sleeping like a baby. I take no type of anti anything meds. I just deal with it. I ate a bunch of food last night. Um, I was gonna say something. I forgot what it was. That's okay. Well, anyways, yeah. So I smoked a cigarette yesterday. I'm doing all my stuff, like just all my writing, and like I just I mean I don't know. I was about to say something, but now I'm just like, damn. And so, anyways, and you can hear it, right? But but that's really it. So I'll have a little bit of that cough, and then it'll be fine. So it's just like that's right. I had some food last night. I had a bunch of like pierogies, and I had what else? Some chicken, and I had that's all I had: pierogies and chicken. And no, that's right, no period. I had no period yet. I hadn't had a period since April. I had no period this month. Okay, my husband's like, "Oh, you're in menopause." I'm like, "Well, I guess it's some kind of evolutionary menopause." Okay, I mean, whatever. Because right, if you're so healthy, I don't know. Maybe it could be a sign of the COVID. That's people are saying when they got the vaccination, they had an interruption in their period. So if someone got recently vaccinated, they hung out with, that could have been any antibodies. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next month. But anyway, so this whole respiratory thing, I'm telling you, as you do the J juice and you get rid of the excess and you just really just focus on really getting your body to where it is 100%, then when you get exposed to new variants like you're going to, I'm telling you, they already discovered a new variant in China, the H10N1 whatever, and it's going to be nonstop new variants, you guys. We're in for some shit. I've been telling you this. I mean, right now they're lifting the mask mandates here in Ohio, and here I am hanging out with only like maybe less than 10 people over the weekend, and I caught something, okay? Caught an evolution. Imagine when they lift the masks out there and everyone's hanging out together in these crowded venues. Oh my God. And they're not doing J juice. Holy shit. And then wait till the fall when it gets colder. And then everybody goes inside and everybody's all like, and that's flu season. You don't know what the hell is down the line. If you're only doing J juice just a little bit, you better freaking up it and get through your symptoms over the summer because the winter is going to be insane. But if you're already in Australia, then like you puppy son, then you should be doing it now, and then you should be doing a lot of it and eating a lot of food. If anything, you guys need to be doing a little bit of J juice, get your poop out, get rid of the poop plug, and eat a lot of freaking food because you need to regenerate and build your body up. Not like be all muscly and be all like a gym rat. I'm talking about you need to have like the food supply and J juice to then recalibrate your muscular system and your fatty system, whatever, your skin, your integumentary system, and all your systems, so that way you can handle all these different variants. Okay? Because it ain't gonna let up. This was just the beginning. Now you're seeing the self-sacrifice of Bill Gates. You're seeing the self-sacrifice of Fauci. You think they're all like a bunch of shills. They were there for a purpose. And you know how the system is. There's two sides to the same coin. You have the puppeteer, the intelligence. This is the trinity of intelligence. So you have the anti-masks and the pro-masks, the anti-vax and the pro-vax. It doesn't matter which side you take, because if you don't have the intelligence to understand how this shit works, you could take either side and you're still going to have complications. That's the whole esoteric knowledge that y'all think that it's like, stuff from Marduk and antiquity and all of our aliens, Anunnaki. Oh, that's all part of it. The real esoteric knowledge is Trinity. When you're playing both sides against each other. And they're like, oh yeah, now that we have no masks, everything is great. If I'm affected by a freaking virus with less than 10 people at a house, imagine people going out there that have absolutely no idea how much they can take. They're freaking skinny mini, absolutely nothing to them. And they go hang out with a bunch of people they don't even know. Oh my God, it's going to be a fucking shit show. It already is a shit show. Jesus. And so this is where the esoteric knowledge lays within. Whatever side mainstream media takes, whether it's for or against, that you now have to build your body stronger. And again, not by lifting weights and running and being all a gym rat. I'm talking about you need to do the JJs, release that poop, that excess poop, all those agonist antibodies, antagonist antibodies. And you need to then finally rebuild your cell structures. You need to rebuild those cell structures. Because let me tell you, after all that coughing, and it was pretty intense coughing, I would have been so sore. It would have been hurting to cough again. But the reason why people have a hard time coughing after a night of coughing, a day of coughing, maybe episodes, because they have they don't have enough of the esophagus, enough of that material, whatever it is that actually triggers cough, to then keep them bringing stuff out. So then they're so sore they stop coughing. And then they take these agents that like try to soothe their cough so they don't cough. And then they keep all that mucus in. And then they're afraid to poop. So many people in the West and America, all over the world, are full of shit. You're full of shit, your belly's getting bigger, and you have more complications, you're aging faster. Yeah, that's the accelerated aging process with all these transducers. So it doesn't matter what Fauci says. It won't matter what Bill Gates says, for or against. It won't matter what Biden or Trump says. Anytime you see I don't care, politicians, they have to play both sides. Whether it's Boris or whether it's somebody over there, Dan Andrews in Australia, whether it's whoever. They have to play both sides because they have to represent the duality system that they have created so you can actually have a place to live, so you can have an infrastructure. So there is some kind of resistance to then create evolution. But you fall on either side of those things, hating him or loving them or whatever, and you don't understand the bigger picture. If you don't understand the bigger picture, you're going to be full of shit and full of mucus. If you don't know how to release the excess and understand that your temperature, now on a lesser person, if you have a very high fever, it can be deadly. So of course you're going to have to go and get lower your temperature through ice or through whatever, I don't know, painkillers and acetaminophen. That's why those things existed, because we have so many weak people on this earth that have taken out organs, worked themselves out to death, have anesthetized themselves with drugs, alcohol, sex, and all that stuff. And so they have to bring these drugs in to lower your temperature synthetically, because you won't be able to handle a rising temperature and a falling temperature. But I felt so, last night when I was laying in my bed and I was watching that movie and I feel the temperature rise and fall, I was just like, oh my God, it's almost like feeling your lungs breathe on its own. But you feel it all over your body. It's like all of my cells were respirating at the same time. It was a crazy feeling, and I feel more powerful. I'm telling you, I feel powerful. And that's the whole point of the JJs, is at some point when you finally reverse all your issues and you finally then take on the new variants that are going to evolve you, whether it's from a vaccine or someone shedding from a vaccine, or whether it's just something floating in the wind, because when someone sneezes in the wind, those little mucus things gets carried through the wind, and then you end up breathing it in. Yes, like a hot flush. Thank you, puppy son. It was like a hot flush, and then it disappeared. And that's when the body, when you've helped it get rid of all the excess mucus, which is all the stuff that it's trying to burn out or get out, that hot flush then just kind of burns everything up, and then your body feels so much better. Your body, like, not even like I was saying soreness, but it was just like I didn't feel too much of the triggers of the coughing. Here's a cough. But I didn't feel too much of the triggers of the cough. And so I was able to sleep. That's the biggest thing about the J juice when you finally get to a certain point of strength in your throat, in your respiratory system, in your lungs, is that you will be able to sleep. When people are sick and they're evolving on a very, very compromised body, they have to take drugs to sleep because they can't. Their body is so trying to survive and so trying to evolve that sleep is just, it's almost non-existent when you're sick. So, so anyways, that's great that the juice healed your insomnia. Now we have to do the next thing, puppy son. There's a whole lot more than just specific physical symptoms. Remember, it's not just the body. This is where a lot of you guys are still in the activist world. You still have to also get through all of your physical symptoms, but not plateau from there. It then becomes the spiritual, your hormones, which means that you stop taking a side and you get off the bandwagon of activism. And then it also is your intellect, your mind. Your spirit and your mind are probably the most important as soon as you get through the physical. The spirit and the mind is then what then causes you to have now a different viewpoint of the world. And then you don't take part in the wars. You get out of the war and then you start creating and converting energy to where it is very like life promoting and it's not destructive. See, a lot of people, they get lost, they get caught up and lost and then plateau in the physical. They don't take enough of the J juice to get to the actual spiritual and the mental. So all of their testimonies are only just physical, but they never get to a certain point. They never get to a certain point of where it actually hits the spiritual and the mental. And that's when it then starts coming out in their speech. They can speak on Facebook Live. They can write very intelligently. And then who knows, they could become like a journalist that could change the journalist field. They could become a speaker and an influencer that's not just out to destroy somebody or a perception of somebody. They're building not only themselves up, but they're building their community up. That's the other side of all of this crap that you're seeing all over Facebook. When people are denigrating the politicians or denigrating whoever, which, yeah, I mean, I can understand. I mean, not everybody was benevolent. Some people were victimizing people, but you can't stop them. You know, the system and the people allow each other to be victimized. That's why we have predators, because we have people that allow themselves to be prey. So what if you taught yourself, as well as everybody around you, that you don't have to be prey to a predator? Predators only go after weak people. Maybe it's time not to be weak in body, mind, and spirit. Okay? And so that's what the J juice can offer you, is not just the physical. And it's interesting. I just saw somebody, a journalist, who wrote a BuzzFeed article about me, who liked the exposing the lies. Now, I don't know if you could follow without liking any of my business pages. But it's interesting that Needy Subaram, the journalist that talked so much smack about me in such an indirect way, made inferences that I killed somebody, definitely gave all the platforms to all the little influencers out there. And now her culture is dealing with COVID-19 and they're being decimated by the thousands. Maybe it's time you looked at the J juice, Needy Subaram. You know, I think you, Needy, deserve to live. I think that I didn't deserve to be destroyed or attempted to be destroyed 3 or 4 years ago. I think that everyone that understands chemistry, that understands biochemistry, understands the power of viruses and the power of pain. I think if you understand that your family, your culture, your friends can actually deserve to live and rise above this crazy transition of evolution. Because that's what we're in. We're in a great reset. Nita, you know about Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. You know they are doing a great reset. Does it matter where the virus came from? It doesn't even matter. We could all speculate it all came from the Wuhan lab, came from the bats. But does it really matter? If you're thinking of writing an article about me that's saying that I'm being a conspiracy theorist, then you haven't learned anything. I'm telling you, any journalist that wants to slam me now, with so much that's going on, more power to you. Because the more power you're into destroying someone, the more you're going to destroy yourself. And most likely, you probably won't be doing J-Juice, so you'll go out like a supernova, like everybody else out there, watching people freaking crack up and glitch. And so if you want to promote that, if you are a journalist that's out to destroy somebody, you are out to destroy yourself. But I actually challenge you, BuzzFeed, Newsweek, Daily Mail, Pathos, maybe you start writing articles where you empower not only yourself, not only your freaking bank account, but you start building up your community. You start actually promoting things that are actually life-giving. That's the law of life-giving. Not trying to sell a perception because you want to get readership, because you're feeding into the BS that's out there because people are trying to make money off of somebody else's destruction. But really, truly, be the example for everyone else out there who is all about destroying a person, place, or thing. Why don't you, journalists, be an example to build up your society? And then give people the choice. If they want to destroy themselves, fine. But here are your choices. Here's the laws of life. Here's the laws of death. If you wear a mask, you might lessen the amount of payload. And if you don't wear a mask, yes, if you are strong and you can handle it like I can, you don't wear a mask and you allow the payload to do whatever it's got to do, and then you deal with it. But where I understand the mask is because when there was so much pollen in the air a couple days ago, and I was sneezing every single time I went outside, I would sneeze and I would sneeze and I would sneeze. And I would come inside and be like, just everything would be watering. I was like, okay, Jason, I'm going to wear a freaking mask until I can get myself acclimated to it, because this is insane. So imagine if that was like the COVID and someone went out, to a huge crowd of people and they weren't wearing a mask and they didn't have what it takes to actually handle the environment. Yeah, they would probably have major complications. So here's the thing. I get the whole mask thing. Just don't tell me I have to wear it. If I want to be exposed to all of you because you all have the evolution, I can handle it. But if you can't, then that's fine. But understand both sides. And then if someone wants to denigrate me and denigrate somebody else, then fine, whatever, who cares? I just don't give it any more energy as far as that. But I get both sides of the coin. I understand both sides of the point of view. And so I challenge not only all of you guys that are out there in the activist world that are anti this and pro that, but I challenge all the journalists out there. Time to take and look at both sides of the issue and give it equal time without some kind of bias because you are part of mainstream or you're feeding into your readership because of all the almighty dollar. But that almighty dollar, that sacrifice that you're taking from the people that are reading your information, you're going to take that energy and then it's going to destroy you. Just like King Midas. Everything he touched turned to gold and it destroyed him. That's the whole point of King Midas. When you're so money hungry, journalists, because you're trying to sacrifice everybody in your community, guess what? It's going to then destroy you. And so I'm sure 10 or 15 years were taking off people's lives back when they were trying to destroy me, because I was steadily actually evolving while they were devolving. And now they're like, oh shit, Jilly Juice now is something. Oh, well, you took 10 years off your life. Well, you could have added 3 years ago. So now you got to start back from freaking square one. And you hope that you get past the physical plateau so you can finally get to the mental and the actual spiritual. We'll see. Some people will not get out of the physical and they'll die in the physical because they couldn't get out of the physical. They kept redirecting their energy out there and they never redirected it back to themselves because it's easy and it's fun when you have all your social capital and all your friends giving you all this energy that you're not really using to your benefit. And so I challenge all of you guys to start building up each other, but coming from a very lawful point of view. If somebody is if somebody is violating the laws of life, then you call them out. Okay? You call them out. If somebody is promoting the laws, okay, somebody is violating the laws of life, you call them out. If someone's promoting the laws of life, you call them out and say, that's amazing. You're not destroying somebody. When you're saying, hey, you're promoting all these antibiotics, you're promoting, destruction of this human being because of your perception of them, because they're trying to uphold a law. You really think that's life promoting? You really think that, why don't you, instead of saying, okay, Mr. Dan Andrews or whoever, why don't you just give people the option of jelly juice? If you really want to save people's lives, why don't you give them the option of jelly juice? That's always been my thing with the people that are in the J juice world. Give people the freaking option. If you're so against Dan Andrews, so against Biden, so against Trump, so against all these different political people, so against Bill Gates, so against, hell, I don't know, GMO, which you shouldn't be, because that's all bioengineering, that's all engineering, that's all technology, that if you're missing that, you're screwed. Why don't you promote jelly juice if you want to save people's lives? Because jelly juice promotes the laws of life. Not only is it probiotic, but it actually has the energy of the salt, and it has the food supply, okay, that is, yes, bioengineered, because we're bioengineered bodies, and it's going to rebuild someone's cell structures, and then you have to feel pain. Okay? That's, that's the very essence of promoting life. When you tell people not to do something, don't do this, don't do that, don't do it, and you don't give them an alternative that really is going to actually promote the laws of life, then you're actually sealing their fate. When you're silent about something that you know that works, if you really know it works, if it doesn't really work for you, then you're not going to promote it, you're not going to talk about it, you're not going to give it to, you're not going to say anything on your Facebook or anyone to your world, because it hasn't worked for you, because you haven't put any effort towards it. So yeah, the actions speak louder than words. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from, is that at some point we have to have our voice and our mind and our body and all that stuff aligned 100%. Not speak out of both sides of your mouth, not promote local and organic. When I said there should be no one being promoting local or organic on the jelly juice, because our bodies are now having to becoming more advanced. We are becoming more advanced, and if our food supply isn't more advanced, then just like Mehmet said, he's a new person on my Facebook, you are what you eat. So if you want to have only 2 ingredients, then I guess a single cell amoeba only needs 2 ingredients. If you want to be all muscly and work out and be all like, a Hercules and have no fat and put so much pressure on your vital organs, and you want to promote that, that's going to be a shortened lifespan. When you want to, deprive yourself of food because you're afraid of GMO, afraid of fat, and afraid of this, afraid of that, shortened lifespan. I feel great. I feel great with the weight that I have on me. And it's not really that, look, it's not even fat. It's just, I got body. This isn't fat. This is just all, it's strength. Okay? And it's not like super out. It's not sloppy. It's proportion. If you're afraid to gain some weight because you're trying to sell an image, then you're going to be wasting away, because let me tell you, all of this transducers and all of this piezoelectricity and the viruses and all that stuff, they're going to be eating you alive. If you weigh next to nothing, you will be eaten alive by the electricity in the environment. If you don't have insulation, I got so much insulation. That's how I was able to get through this freaking cold. that could have taken me out. It would have taken out a lesser person. Even a person that is so obese would not be able to handle that because they don't have enough muscle and enough strength to be able to get that sputum out. So they're going to be choking on their own vomit or choking on their own mucus. But I have just enough weight where I'm not obese and I'm not too skinny. And I have the strength of, let me tell you, I have the strength. Like my dog had trouble getting up on the bed because the covers, every time she jumped on, the covers would slide off. So I just picked her up, and she's like 70 pounds, 60 pounds. I just picked her up like it was nothing. And all the all the strength came from my stomach. She's just like, what the hell? Where did that come from, Julian? I was like, where the hell did that come from? Holy crap. Okay, so the strength is in eating. It's in recalibrating. It's eating the bioengineered foods. It's eating the meat, the milk, whether it's bioengineered or organic, which I don't even like. That's why I have a bad feeling about certain people in my group because they were promoting the organic stuff. They were promoting the clean eating. They were promoting the better meat here versus the better meat here or whatever. And I'm like, I'm done with this whole, this is better than this. Food is freaking food. Eat the goddamn food because it's going to save your life. If you don't gain some weight a little bit, if you don't get some strength in your body. Now, I know there's some jelly juicers that look great and they're not like me like this. They're very slim, but they're doing J juice. They say they're eating. Okay, fine. But you really need to make sure you have enough insulation to handle this environment. Because let me tell you, when you do go to different crowds and you don't feel some kind of evolution, are you really evolving, or is your body taking on a lot of that piezoelectricity and then cannibalizing your body? And then you're like, then at some point, yeah, your body will be like, okay, I'm hungry, and they're gonna want you to eat. But I want you to find a way where you're not always doing the J juice to get rid of the nutrients or to energize the nutrients away. I want you to be able to, when you eat food, that it stays on you because you're going to need that insulation to be as a backup. You don't know what's coming down the pipeline in the future, and you have to have reserves. These are the reserves, okay? I can't stop eating just now, craving cheesecake and burgers. Good, Odd, good. Yeah, you need the reserves because the environment is only going to get more aggressive. Okay, and if you don't have the reserves to back up to insulate the energy so your body and have that resistance to have everything be strong, I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy for those that don't have anything to them. And I'm sure this helped with increasing my size. This is my favorite, I'm telling you. The vanilla sweet cream. Oh my God, it's so good. All right, and that's the thing that I understand about the Midwest and the West Coast. The Midwest, they eat meat. I mean, corn-fed boys and girls. The women here and the men are built like you would not believe. Even the Asian women people out here that are like Filipino or whatever, they're built like this. But, you know, that we need to have some kind of balance because some are really retaining a lot of weight and they become massively obese. Was extra skinny before I started at 6 stones, have put on nearly 3 and still rising. Good, Odd Stewart. Very good. Yes, you need that reserve. But out here, I mean, everybody eats like meat, milk, and cheese, and processed food, and burgers, and all this, the great stuff, right? And then you have the J juice just to kind of keep things moving, but you're not drinking so much J juice where you're energizing it out of your body where it's not able to think and use it. And so I get my poop out and I see, you know, if I ate like a blue cupcake, I see blue frosting or blue food coloring in my poop the next day. So I know how my body is releasing all the food. And then if I do feel like I need to do some waterfalls, which I haven't really felt like I need to do waterfalls, then I'll do it. Okay, but I'm releasing at a maximum level. Now, let's say this. Let's say, you know, after I get this book done and I'm doing a bunch of, well, I don't even know if I need to do J juice. What I'd be doing. I might, like, yesterday I did the J juice, although I took a shot of it yesterday because I needed to figure out this whole thing with the cough. I'm like, oh my God, I need to energize the cough. But But maybe because I don't have like, if I don't have like vegetables that week or whatever, if I was eating a bunch of stuff. And so I'll do a shot of J juice as like my vegetable replacement because it's liquefied vegetables, fermented vegetable. It has the vitamin C, the vitamin A, vitamin whatever, and all the nutrients that are in the cabbage and the kale and the salt and then the water. And so I could drink like, like maybe once a month, drink like a glass of J juice and I would get all my nutrients. And I would still get nutrients in the food supply because I would be eating like, chopped up cabbage. I eat tangelos. Like I have a routine every night. I eat tangelos. Those are like little oranges. I peel the oranges. Those were actually really felt. Those were taste really good. Okay, so anyway, so out here in Ohio, people, I would be doing manual labor if and I would build my muscle, build my stamina, running up and down the stairs, do whatever, and and I would be built for my environment. And so if California would take on the Midwestern ways, they would be strong. But California's about selling an image. California's like trying to look good and trying to look cute and trying to look like a fashionista, which I get. I mean, people are in business and they're in different, industries that, the image is everything. But at some point, I hope that the image doesn't destroy somebody because you could be doing J juice and not eating enough food, and then a big virus comes in, and then you get knocked on your ass, it's going to be that much harder to climb out of that hole. That's the thing about viruses, is you don't know the strength of them. And I'm telling you, this last virus I was exposed to was freaking strong. It came out of nowhere. I hung out with some of these people, before, and it wasn't this. I mean, I had some stuff where I was around somebody else that was vaccinated. No big deal. I mean, I'm fine with that. I was down for a couple days, just sleeping. Okay. But this last time, it was like it really went to my lungs. So you don't know what's out there, what's lurking out there. So you have to make sure you have some kind of insurance. What's the insurance? It's your body, not the image. You can tailor your clothes to fit your body. Do you have to show your belly? Do you have to? I mean, I could show my belly, but I mean, I don't feel I need to show my body off. My husband's like, why don't you wear a bikini? Because I don't really need to wear a bikini. Okay, that's not where my head's at. It's not showing off flesh to me is just like I'm putting out a for rent sign or something. I mean, I think women are much more than just a commodified piece of meat. I think at some point we need to start worshiping the brain, not the body. But that's going to be a while before we get to that point. But I'm just like, Jason, I know you're attracted to me, but that's between us. Does everybody need to know all of the assets that you hold? No, they don't really need to know that. They can see through the clothes, okay? Because he has a boat and he wants, and I'm like, hey, if you want to go rent some bikini clad women, okay. Woo. That's a man thing. He needs you to wear a bikini. I know. I'll wear a freaking granny bikini with a skirt and everything. You're just like, what the hell? I'm like, hey, babe, I'm not trying to have you release too much essence because, either you make a baby or you're releasing stuff for no reason. Yeah, you might be giving it to me, but I don't need all your energy. I have enough of it, really. You need to keep your energy. And he's just like, ooh. So you as a woman, if your husband isn't doing the J juice, taper off that stuff. Okay? Try to have them relax on releasing their life force because you don't want them to release so much to where it shortens their lifespan. Onesie. Oh yeah, onesie. And so, but he's just like, he laughs at that because he's just like, when the men are told that releasing all the time is like the thing to do, that's how the sea nymphs, the the whole story about them luring the sailors into the sea, that's kind of the same thing. when a woman is so beautiful and she's so like perfectly proportioned for procreation, all the men out there start losing their minds because she has tapped into their testosterone. She has tapped into their baser level instinct. And their baser level instinct is to procreate or release. And then over time, those men become then skeletons. Because she has now, like, I'm not saying she's bad, but that trigger of a hormone does then deplete a man. And some women know how to use that because they know that some men are very weak in that area. And that's the thing with the Jodi Arias. If you watch that case about Jodi Arias, she used her sexuality to try to get this guy to marry her. When he figured out with his religion, he's a Mormon, he wanted to act out all of his fantasies with her, but she was so off. She thought using her body and using sex to get somebody and to control them was everything, but no. It actually repels. So it's a fine line. And so that's, where women then start determining their values or not showing off their bodies and using their bodies as a way to tractor beam anyone or anything. Okay? And that's where, yes, our value becomes higher when we actually respect ourselves. And that not only means just what you wear, but also longevity. And so these are the things that I'm learning. And I'm telling you, I feel, even though that little cough that I had, I'm feeling amazing. Like I was laying in bed this morning going like, if this is immortality, this is so awesome. I could do this every single day. Get up and do what I got to do. And if I have a specific routine, if I'm working on something, and always have something in the pipeline just to keep the resistance, keep the activity going. And then you will continuously innovate and innovate and innovate. And there'll be no like depletion, there'll be no decline, there'll be no descending into anything. People descend into darkness because their bodies have not been kept up to the level of the environment. And so I don't want anyone on the JJs to descend into darkness, okay? It's not always the light, but it's not always the dark. It's the balance between, but not playing both sides against each other, but rise above and understand the balance of both and appreciate it, but at the micro level. So that way the macro level, you're not all dark and gothic and deadly. You are like, oh, hey, yeah, life happens. You're going to have resistance. You're going to have people that are what they are, and they'll say what they say, and it's not really going to affect you. And you put up your boundaries and your roadblocks to people that want to destroy you, and you just leave it alone, and you don't give it any more energy, and you keep moving forward, and you still give them the capacity or give them the instructions on how to do JJs should they want to actually change our lives and stop destroying other people. And that's really what the JJ is about, is giving people the opportunity to build themselves up. Even when they want to destroy you, you give them the opportunity to build themselves up. And that's it. That's where you align your body, mind, and spirit. It's not just the physical. I look forward to those that just give me physical testimonies. They actually give me mental and intellectual and spiritual. And when someone says, oh, I'm so spiritual, remember, they're hormonal. All the spiritual people out there are working from a very predominant hormone. And they know how to use that hormone to charm the pants off of everybody that also has that hormone or is lacking that hormone. And so that's where the charismatics come from. So some of you are still in that mode, and that's okay. Just know it for what it is and then work to get your biochemistry balanced. All right, I'm going to go do my work, drink my coffee, and just enjoy what I'm doing. All right. Thanks for listening. Nice to see you, Puppy Son, Audrey, all of you guys. You guys are amazing. Okay. All right. Bye.